Welcome back, you degenerates, to the number one fantasy football podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mike, with my dear greatest friend, Billy Wilson. How you doing, Billy?
What's going on, Mike? It's unfortunate that I can't see your ugly fat face in person, but through a
You know you
screen it's
love
better than nothing.
touching these cheats, baby.
I will say I thought you were ugly with the beard. I can't even look at your face without laughing.
Yeah, me either. I wish I could just liposuction on his face.
Joe
Joe
Green, how
Green,
you
how you
doing?
doing? Ah,
Good. I will say I do not miss these Zoom calls. These are, or whatever, Skype calls, whatever you want to call them. These are brutal. I mean, I know it's a terrible way to start an episode, but not
Yeah,
the same.
yeah,
everybody wants to see me in person. When we
yeah.
got some live video out there, you can come meet and greet us one day.
Mm,
You're gonna love to meet this meatball because guess what?
yeah.
I'm gonna size you all up, motherfuckers. All of you.
Yeah,
Especially Zippy.
yeah.
Zippy, being sized up.
Fuck Zippy, and if we get a little lower energy than usual, it's because we feed off each other, like inside of a room. So we apologize in advance.
All good. Let's kick off with news. Billy,
All right, big news. A lot of news going down this week. Michael Gallup possibly to play in week 3. Keep an eye on that. It could be big news, for that whole team. Become a much better off on the offensive side of the ball. Next up, Trey Lance basically broke his ankle in every which way possible and tore a tendon. He got surgery right away. He's out for the year. Mike Evans is suspended for 1 game for shoving Marshawn Lattimore. That was a long time coming, and he appealed, but it got denied, so he will be missing week 3. James Conner left the game last week and did not return. He's questionable for this week. Jerry Jeudy it looked like a shoulder injury, wound up being a rib injury. He's questionable. I'm kind of happy. If you're a Jerry Jeudy owner, you're kind of happy it wasn't a shoulder and more of a rib. You can play through the rib to shoulder. Kind of hurts trying to get your arms up to catch the ball. Dalton Schultz left the game on the final drive with a knee injury, questionable for this week. So Cowboys could get Gallup back, but they might lose Schultz for the week. There's a lot of players that popped up on the injury report today. Yeah, Lamar. Yeah, like 5 or 6 guys. So just keep an eye out and tread lightly, boys and girls.
pay attention to our Twitter because that's our most up to date news.
Yes, sir. At FFD_podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, boys. Like, follow, subscribe.
Solid plug. Solid plug.
Yeah, I got
Joe
you.
Green, kick us off for the next topic.
So after 2 weeks, we see the value in wide receivers heavily outweighing running backs. And it's funny you put this as a topic. I didn't read this beforehand because my hot take has been for the last 3 days that we will see a wide receiver go number 1 overall in fantasy next year. And I just think the zero running back strategy is off to a phenomenal start.
Yep.
So we got, John Taylor at 7.3 fantasy points last week, CMC at 18, Saquon 11.8, Eckler 18.4, Javonte Williams 9.5, Najee 13.9, Mixon 11.3. All in the top 2 rounds.
Yep. And then you also add in Dalvin Cook from Monday night, who played like trash. There's just a lot of backs that are just. It seems the move is now more heavily onto the wide receivers and even quarterbacks. I mean, we are strongly against drafting quarterbacks in the first round. We've made our fame on that.
Absolutely.
But through the first couple weeks, there's no running back in the top 10 in points per game. 0. So you have to take it into equation of, is it still a running back league or is it moving over? Joe Green's been on this train for a while, so that's why I let him read it.
I think it's it's moving to an offensive lead where wide receivers and QBs. And not just that, multiple teams have double running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Jets, Hall and Carter. You look at the Jaguars, they have Robinson and ETN. Packers, Dillon and Jones. Multiple teams have double running backs, which some of them are good enough to have both running backs be top 30. And then others, which I like the Jets, I don't think they're both going to be top 30. So it's interesting to see how it goes forward. I think it's going to continue to be a wide receiver league, especially with the teams airing it out. Offensively, penalties are going against the defense for pass interference, roughing the passer. So the lead's going soft. So there's no better reason to push for wide receivers.
It's funny because the fantasy is starting to catch up with real life, right? Running backs have been undervalued now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, right? Like you almost never see a running back on the first round. And fantasy, we're starting to see that impact. And I think if this continues this year, the zero running back strategy will be the only strategy. Like everyone's going to be doing this wide receiver, Cooper Kupp first overall, and then Justin Jefferson. And then you'll see like 3 running backs maybe on the first round. But, well, obviously it has to continue. It's off to a great start, but that can change very quickly.
Yeah, I just wrote it down as something to keep an eye on, especially going forward, because I know Joe Green has been on that train, and this year I started to hop on that train. So let's see where it goes. Let's see where this train takes us.
We'll see.
Hey, Mike.
Next stop, our next segment right now here. Me and Billy had a trade in our listener league. Now, we want everyone to go in and vote. Whether it's on TikTok, we want you to hit, is it better Billy, better Mike? If you're on YouTube, we want you to comment below. If you're on Instagram, comment below. Everything's FFD_ Degenerates. If it's TikTok, it's Fantasy Football Degenerates. So pay attention. So my trade to Billy was A.J. Brown, the Eagles wide receiver, going to Billy for Curtis Samuels, the Commanders wide receiver, and Lenny Fournette.
Yeah, and I also got Cole Beasley. But Mike was going to drop him, and I plan on dropping him anyway. I have somebody in mind who I would like later on in the week. I need to stream running quarterback, so I'm not going to pick up another quarterback just in case. But who do you think won? Joe Green, first off, who do you think won?
I thought it was pretty even, to be honest. Like, I know our boy Zippy out here telling you, wide receiver 9, Curtis Samuel traded. Yeah, through 2 weeks of the year, a guy who's notorious for getting hurt. But no, I mean, A.J. Brown is clearly off to a great start this year. Wide receiver 1. If Curtis Samuel holds up to be a wide receiver 2, that's great value for Mike. But really the deal to me came down to A.J. Brown for Leonard Fournette.
Yeah,
just volume at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lenny Fournette has been off to like a kind of decent. I mean, he's played against 2 hard defenses, but what I always say is you have targets or you have attempted rush total amounts, which were over 20. It's going to lead to production regardless of what it is. He had 20 rushing attempts in the last 2 games. You'd love to see it. And if A.J. Brown, didn't play against the Washington Vikings, who shit the bed on Monday Night Football with Cousins, we would talk about him top six wide receiver easily.
Yeah.
So Samuels was a little bit of icebreaker. I needed him, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes forward.
The original offer, I wanted to give up A.J. Dillon, but Mike wasn't having that, which is understandable. It's understandable. He said, I need Lenny. And I said, it's fair. And I've been playing fantasy football with Mike long enough as to know if he has a player that I want, and I don't own A.J. Brown in any league. And before the season started, I said I want to own shares of A.J. Brown this year. So for me, it was somebody who I needed to have on a team, and I have a surplus in running back. I have Jonathan Taylor. I had Lenny. I have A.J. Dillon. I'm not desperate for a running back, but I have DeAndre Hopkins on my bench. And besides that, I have T. Higgins, who, let's be real, the Bengals haven't looked great, and Brandon Cooks. I need some upside in A.J. Brown. So,
and he has Hopkins in the later. He could trade off. So,
a couple. I had Darnell Mooney on my bench, who's we'll get to later. Looks like dog shit. Let us know what you think. I think I won.
Hit that follow button and let us know what you think.
For once, Mike, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Let me tell you.
I know this is probably our only second trade of all time in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's been rough. Mike wants an arm and a leg for everything.
Face value, that is a very fair trade in my opinion.
I think so.
Thanks, Joe Green.
Let's kick this day off. We have Thursday Night Football. We have Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. rivalry coming out. Amari Cooper finally showed his face. He had targets week 1. He had targets week 2. Finally, it led to production. Like I always said, targets lead to production. 9 catches, 101 yards, had a touchdown. Cleveland shit the bed going against the Jets. Jets came back and won, which is just god awful.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful.
I
sight.
loved it, but yeah. What do we want to say, Jordan?
No, I was going to say Amari. I think for a lot of people, I would really look for him to be a buy low candidate. I know he's coming off a great game, so obviously it's a bad week. But as you get closer to the playoffs and Deshaun Watson returns, there's a real opportunity there where Amari could go off for a string of 3 or 4 games in the playoffs and be a great like wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 2 flex play. So like if you could and you can afford it, I would strongly advise like getting Amari Cooper early in the year before his value goes up.
Yeah, that's a thing that a few people asked me about, like those rounds where Amari Cooper was going. I'm like, if he can fall to the next round, scoop him up as fast as you can, like during drafts, because later on in the year he'll be very productive. Hopefully, we're hoping with Deshaun Watson. And Cooper has that talent, but a lot of the times it's just if he's showing up that day. As Joe Green knows all too well, being a Raiders fan.
Yeah, not very common. Amari shows up more than 6 games a year.
Yeah, I do like that take though. I like it a lot.
Did you hear what the Brisket said about him? He's like, Amari was like, I'm open, and then they watched the tape together, and he's like, I did not see how open you were all game. And then following week 2, he fed him the ball.
Yeah.
Continued feeding him the ball because they lost.
That's a good thing that like that came out because like it says that he trusts him. Like he didn't see him open because like he can't see every read all the time because he's not an elite quarterback. But if he trusts that he's open, he's just going to throw him to him, and Amari will make a play. So I do like that.
I will say I don't know that he's a safe play every week in fantasy, right?
No,
I don't think he's a safe play this week.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think every week you're going to be, like, not feeling good about that. not loving Amari in your lineup.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Najee Harris? Kind of living in 50 yards per game, not seeing a lot of catches, definitely not seeing the end zone. Are you scared right now with how he's being used?
A little, but not. We had concerns going in that the offense might not be great, but I've said it every week since he's come in the league. You throw Najee Harris the ball, you win games, and they're trying to get him the ball in the passing game, but there's only so much blocking that terrible O-line can do. I had 15 attempts for 50 yards last week. That's basically what he's going to get until unless he breaks one off. They didn't really have a lot of opportunities in the red zone last week, so we'll see. There's a lot of mouths to feed there too.
Absolutely. Patty, Jordan, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I saw this excellent tweet earlier that was like, if you drafted Najee Harris in the first round, you basically ordered a well-done steak with ketchup on the side. I mean, like, you love the talent, but listen, maybe I'm biased from being someone who owns Najee in 2 leagues. I'm petrified because the offense stinks. He's kind of banged up, and it's like, when is it going to turn around from him? Like, I don't know. I'm worried as an owner what we're going to see from him the rest of the year, especially because of just the not nagging injuries. Really,
yeah. You put him on the trade block in one league today.
Yeah, I've been looking at a trade for him.
Slide in the DMs.
We'll see.
What's funny is he has them in 2 leads, and he didn't even know which one he put him on the trade block for.
No.
Well, Mike goes, "Oh, the one you're 0-2." I was like, "Well, that's both, sadly. Like, I'm always doing both of those leagues." That's what happens when you draft in the first round. You're like, it's not a good start.
So we are all in 3 leagues together, and Mike has asked me for 3 different players in 3 different leagues, all of them being on different teams. They're all he's like, oh, the keeper league. I'm like, I don't own him. That's not where I own him.
I get confused. It's all on sleeper, so it's not like I'm switching apps. I have to switch out of the goddamn the lead.
Yeah.
But next up, we have Patty Firemouth. You saw the targets. Didn't get the production. I don't know if you're watching that game. He had an opportunity for a deep pass. I forgot it was right before the touchdown, but it was out of his range of catch, or it hit his hands and he got laid out. So don't be scared. I would continue playing Patty all year round. He got the touchdown. He's going to continue to see the touchdown production.
Yeah.
So don't be scared to not play him.
I'm not scared if Mitch loses the job, which he looks like he's going to very soon.
Like, you got to play the rookie.
Yeah. I'm not scared of that either. Patty Muth is a huge target, and, there'll be games he eats. We saw it week 1. There'll be games he eats.
Just want to give one key stat. Cleveland gave up 307 yards to Flacco last week. 4 total touchdowns. Pittsburgh's not exactly a powerhouse offense, but neither is the Jets. So
Jets are hopeful.
Steelers are hopeful. So next up, Sunday, 1 p.m. Start off with the Saints in the Carolina. Saints look like crap. Winston looks like crap. They're a little too short to trade for Jimmy G. He's currently a starter of San Francisco. Thanks to Trey Lance broken ankle.
Rest in peace to one of my leagues.
Michael Thomas off to a great start. 3 touchdowns already on the year. He's had a touchdown in every game, doing the first game. He's averaging about 8 to 9 targets. Not seeing the yardage, but he's being featured in the offense. Kamara's obviously out last week. This week, unknown. It's a rib injury. We have to continue to pay attention to the news. And we finally saw DJ Moore last week. Finally. But it was only a touchdown. The production's not there besides the touchdown.
Yeah, it was wild how that happened, because I texted in the group chat. I own DJ Moore in a couple leagues, and I was like, is DJ Moore droppable at this point? And then Joe Green said, yeah, he is. I think he is. And then immediately scores a touchdown. That good old Joe Green bad juju to make me hold on to him for at least one more week.
I mean, that being said, it's still not great. Yeah,
no, it's not great at all. But back to the Michael Thomas thing, real quick, Mike. We knew that this was a chance that it could happen, that he would just finally be healthy and finally play well. He was never a guy who got crazy yardage. He was a guy who got crazy volume. So if he's still getting 9-10 targets a game, he's just going to get better the more football he plays, because he's been out for so long. So the amount of targets he's getting, I think he's going to eventually create more fantasy points, if you can believe that or not.
I'm hopeful for him to continue to get the 8 to 10 targets per game. That's targets equal production. So that's all I can say about Michael Thomas. I'm a current owner of him, and I love it. I'm hopefully to use him as trade bait. So
hit me up when you do.
I want to say, I want to say, like, you don't have mentioned here, but Chris Olave, it's coming, man. He should have 3 touchdowns in that game. Like, he is their deep ball. He's gonna, when the Jameis, if he ever connects on him, hopefully he connects on him. That's a guy who's going to be a flex play by the end of the year, if not a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I agree. I said he was my favorite wide receiver out of the draft. It's just we were worried about how good is Jameis going to be. There's a lot of mouth speed there. We don't know. But yeah, he should have had 3 touchdowns for sure.
He had 13 targets. 13 targets
and the most air yards in week 2, and that was with Tyreek Hill going for like 195 yards.
Otto going for 150.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's a big part of it. It's the offensive line. They're not good. Their offensive line is left tackle, right tackle is just out on the outside, just god awful.
Yeah.
Sorry. Joe Green.
Yikes.
Previous stated. Sell. No, you didn't say sell. Who were you talking about before? Oh,
DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore should be sell high. I mean, he had a touchdown last week. If you could sell him off for something, I mean, do it. Because
sell him hot.
Sell him hot. If he has one more game, sell him hot again, because we all thought he had a potential to be great this year with Baker Mayfield, and it's just that offense just doesn't look good.
We found out that it wasn't the Browns that were bad. It was Baker Mayfield. That's what we found out this year.
They played the Giants, and they should have been all over the field.
Yeah.
JMC finally back. Oh, cut me off again.
I'm so sorry. We keep cutting each other. No, I was gonna say sneaky DFS play, maybe even fantasy play. Panthers against Jameis because Jameis 9 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and 10 starts against the Panthers. Just has a habit of sucking it up against them. I mean, not really going to endorse it heavily, but if you're playing DFS, might want to look at it.
Yeah, you'll see that in my DFS lineup this week, Joe Green, for sure. Where I take your money again.
Yeah, two people going against each other.
Hey, back-to-back weeks.
CMC finally got his 100-yard game, first one of the year. Finally getting back in the groove. Do you think he could take the reign as number 1 running back?
He looked good. He did look good, and to the Giants' credit, last week, the Giants' defense is good. They're playing at a high level that they normally don't do. So it was somewhat impressive for him to get 100 yards, but there's a chance, but I'm still worried. I put Aaron Jones on the trade block in one of our leagues, and then somebody who owns CMC hit me up and said, "Hey, what do you want for Aaron Jones?" And I said CMC, and they told me to fuck off. So I guess people still believe in it. I don't think that offense is good enough for him to be the number 1, but he's definitely in the top 3 if he stays healthy all year.
Yeah, I mean, I think concern right out the gate is that everyone said, he was higher upside than Jonathan Taylor if he's healthy, and we haven't seen that yet. I think as much as we ragged, or like I especially ragged on Cam Newton, the one thing Cam Newton really gave Baker Mayfield was that read option, and don't really get that with Baker Mayfield. And I'm not sure the explosiveness will be there. And then the other thing is Cam Newton checked the ball down more than anyone ever, and Baker's not that guy.
He can't throw down the field. That's why.
Yeah.
On that shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not super high on CMC, but if he stays healthy, you got a top 10 running back. That's all you could ask for at this point.
Yeah.
That's enough of that game. We're going to talk about the Houston versus Chicago, the Bears. Let's kick it off with the Bears because we went from Nagy to now this coach. I don't even know this coach's name. But you only threw the ball 11 times being down the whole game. Like, why are you not throwing the ball against your rival and you're down?
Because they don't ever beat the Packers. So they were like, why even bother? Why make this worse than it has to be by Justin Fields throwing multiple interceptions? Let's just get out of
14.
this game.
You're only down 14. Come on.
Because they just ran the ball and ate the clock.
The Jets came back. Why can't the Bears?
Because the Jets are hopeful and the Bears aren't.
They should be helpful. You got a second year QE. Put it in his hands.
Yeah,
they're hopeful for Bryce Young.
I want them to be hopeful for Darnell Mooney's sake, but he looks like dog shit. Cole Kmet is a fake player, as Joe Green tweeted the other day. I thought that was hysterical.
The people that
made up.
Anybody that backed Kmet as actually a fantasy relevant player should be just stop. You don't deserve your name on anything.
Back-to-back years.
You had no evidence to back this up. I don't understand. He's 6'6" and he's a tight end. Like, why in the world would you think he's going to be good? Because there's nobody else. There's just Mooney.
Yeah, I had him at the back end of my rankings just because there's nobody there. It's just Mooney. But quickly I realized that they're not trying to win.
What do you have to say about this committee at running back for Houston? Week 1 we had Burkhead. Week 2 we had Pierce. Burkhead went gone. He only had 2 total targets, 2 catches. And besides that, he didn't have 1 rush attempt. Who are we gonna trust going forward? Do you think it's gonna be Pierce? Or do you think it's gonna be Burkhead?
I think
it's gonna be random.
I think it's gonna be a mix, a little bit of both going forward. They're trying to. I know exactly what it was. It was they know what Burkhead can do, and they were trying to come out with a win week 1, and then they were like, all right, well, Dameon Pierce, let's see what he's got. And I think it's going to kind of mold back together, is where they're going to be not splitting. I think Dameon Pierce will get more of the work. But first off, Mike is 15 attempts, not 15 targets, as you wrote in the notes. I
don't see that.
What?
They don't see that.
Call
me out.
I always got to
you
call
read
you
it.
out. I always have to call you out. I was somebody who was thinking about picking up Burkhead this week because people are dropping him and just stash him on my bench to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an open roster spot for somebody, I don't hate owning Burkhead because even if Pierce goes down, there's value there.
I think so too. I pick up Burkhead on almost every league I could.
That's because you own Dameon Pierce in almost every league.
Top 15 running back. Hopefully.
Very true.
The only thing I touch upon this is Mooney. He's almost droppable. It's unfortunate, but if Fields is only throwing the ball 11 times, I mean, Mooney has to catch the ball 11 times for to be relevant. It's sad to see. I don't know what this coaching staff is doing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And Mooney ate last year, and he did well. And I bought into the hype just like you did. I stole him from you in multiple leagues, and you're quite mad at me. And you're welcome for stealing him because now I have useless player on my team.
He's not even seeing like a deep ball game. Like,
how are you gonna see a deep ball when you throw the ball 11 times?
I know. Droppable.
Yeah, he's got one game left, and if he doesn't do anything, I 100% cutting him in everything. I don't own him in anything, but if I did, he's gone.
Yeah, for sure. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't. I knew the Bears stunk. I knew it. And
another Anthony Miller.
God, why do we got to bring this guy's name up? He's so bad.
Because you drafted Anthony Miller this year.
I would never draft Anthony Miller. That guy stinks. No, I drafted Kevin White. All right, I didn't draft Anthony Miller. I drafted Kevin White.
Also, the Bears coach is Matt Eberflus. Just want to put that out there since Mike didn't know that.
Who?
I don't care.
Just putting it out there.
Just cut him as well. I mean, he could put in the same paragraph as the Denver's coach. Like,
nah.
Yes, you can. You can't be down and not pass the ball. It's not like your guy had like 300 yards rushing. Like, you're not. That's not. You didn't even play action, so it's pointless. It's pointless to run the ball if you don't play action. Like,
they're tanking, man. They're tanking. They're Justin Fields won't be the starter next year. They're gonna lose as many as possible. And they're gonna draft Bryce Young. Like, it feels like that's the plan.
I think that's what the Raiders are doing.
I would love that. Like, we're going to Super Bowl if that happens. We lose out and get Bryce Young, Super Bowl.
We are not talking Raiders yet, boys. Next up, we have Kansas City versus Indy. Indy and Matt Ryan over there balling it out. Like we all expected it to happen.
Man, he looked so bad.
So bad.
Yeah. I mean, after week 1, we knew. We knew it right away.
Knew it.
So like this week we were like, yeah, they're gonna lose.
Shout out to me. I told you Kelsey was gonna get shut down going against the Chargers.
Good call.
I predicted it. James obviously shut him down. He had 7 targets for 51 yards. Probably one of his worst games in a long time. When they go against the Chargers again, I expect the same thing.
I think this is going to be a problem for that Chiefs offense anytime they play a elite-ish defense, like one of those top 7 defenses. Kelsey's going to get doubled, and someone's going to have to step up. And that game, no one really stepped up. Like, they kind of just got lucky. Herbert threw a pick 6 because Juju was nowhere to be found. I mean, Valdez-Scantling maybe had like 2-3 catches. Like, not great. Like, didn't love that as someone who owns Kelsey and Mahomes.
I'm pretty sure every wide receiver fumbled for the Kansas City. Juju fumbled. I'm pretty sure Hardman.
Oh my God.
Hardman fumbled.
That's his lying machine going off again.
You're right.
Diabetes.
He's just guessing. Actually, no, it's funny. They said they had 0 fumbles in that game, Mike. So that's great. Great stat.
No, I could have sworn I saw Juju. Maybe he got him himself, but he definitely fumbled.
Week 1, dude. Juju fumbled week 1.
Yeah. Justin Watson was the receiver who stepped up this week, but Yeah, I mean, fifth option is not going to do
Can't
that.
say
too
white
often.
on white crime over there.
Jeez.
I was impressed with Clyde. I was. He only had
Clyde.
He looks good.
Yeah, he looks healthy. He looks strong. He's involved in the passing game. Like
I was a
everything
year
that
too
we
early.
wanted him to be last year.
That was a year too early.
Yep.
He looked great. It's like 9.25 yards per carry. I mean, he should have shot. He should have saw like easily 15 to 20 carries, and it would have been a lot easier game for them.
Well, that's what we think. We can't confirm because that 9.25 would probably go down if
Obviously,
yeah.
But it should have been. Obviously, he was able to run the ball on that team.
I mean, are you?
I think
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't think he's capable of seeing more than 12 to maybe 15 carries a game because he's not big enough to take the punishment. I mean, talking about a guy who's 5'7", like he can't take 15 hits a game. He's not going to make it through the season.
Yeah, like week 1 he had 7 attempts. Week 2 he had 8.
Like
total
I honestly just want to
targets.
see probably 12 carries a game. As long as he's getting 4 targets and 4 to 6 targets in the passing game, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like this is like his volume is what I want ETN to be. 10 to 11 carries a week, and then you want to see the 4 to 6, maybe 8 targets, especially if you're down. Like that's ETN's goal, and hopefully one day he's gonna see it. I mean, Robinson's obviously dominating.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there because I kind of have the same opinion on it.
For Matt Ryan lovers, there's
Are there
slight
Matt
hope.
Ryan lovers?
I mean, Colt lovers, no. I mean, there's got to be.
I don't
some
think there's
of
any of those either anymore.
The glimmer of hope is that you had nobody at wide receiver. Like, let's be real. Like, you had nobody. They're having 9 to 10 people in the box. There was nobody to pass to.
What do you mean? Paris Campbell played the whole game.
Yeah, Paris Campbell is also
droppable.
He's droppable. He's never had 1,000 yards in all of the games ever played. So
1,000. I hope he has never 1,000.
1,000 yards. He had every catch in all 5 seasons he's played. Nothing. Hopefully this week they get Pittman and Alex Pierce back from concussion, and I don't know what Pittman's injury. I think it was ankle.
I can pull it up.
I'll double check that. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Well, that's going to be the big thing is how their offense looks with Pittman and Pierce. And I have a weird feeling Pierce is going to be their red zone guy. I mean, we saw it a little bit week 1. They went to him twice. I think Pittman's just going to be the guy in between the 20s. And then when he gets doubled in the red zone, they're going to look at Pierce. But yeah, offensively, even with them, I don't know what you're really looking at.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And for the record, it was a quad injury.
Why? That's the same thing as an injury. It's the same as an ankle.
It's definitely not the same thing as an ankle.
It's close enough.
It's not even close, but sure, we'll go with the same
Joe
thing.
Green, can I get a quick clip of like a human body and an arrow pointing to a quad?
When you're my size, my quad and my ankle are almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Keynote, Indy's offensive line looked horrible. They have 7 sacks already on the year. They should have been one of the best offensive lines. Hopefully improves. Next up, we have Buffalo versus Miami. We had the 2 powerhouses of offense. We didn't even write notes because, you know what? Tua made us look horrible.
Yeah.
Dead awful.
Joe Green, can I ask you a question? Remember last year, me and you were watching the Raiders versus the Ravens, and the Raiders needed to win that game. And Harbaugh kept running cover 0. And we just saw it last week against Miami. They were letting him come back, and he still was playing man against the 2 fastest guys in the league. Do you think that those huge games by Waddle, by Tua, and by Tyreek are because of that? Or do you think it's a for real thing?
I think it's a mix. Like, I'll say this, someone who's watched Tua a lot. I really liked him coming out of college. he looked better that game. That he's never looked that good. Like in his entire career, he made a guy miss on a sack. I was like, you've never done that in the NFL. I mean, his arm is still the same thing. It's not like all of a sudden he got a cannon up for an arm overnight. It's just like, they left Tyreek Hill one-on-one. He got wide open. That's what he does.
Yeah.
I don't know if that continues. We'll see. But 2 weeks, Tua is supported, 2 top 10 wide receivers. Pretty shocking. It helped that they trailed in that game by a lot, but crazy start, and we're taking shit for it, of course. So
yeah, I mean, we deserve to take a little bit of shit for the amount of slander we put out the past couple weeks about Tua. I do think that the Bills' offense is going to be able to do whatever it wants because it does it to everybody. The Titans are atrocious, but they did whatever they wanted against the Rams. And the Rams' defense is good.
It's going to get 9 to 10 catches every game.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I think that's a big thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to point out a stat that Cooper Kupp broke the record last year for most fantasy points by wide receiver per game with 31. Diggs has 35 per game. Obviously, it's 2-game sample size, but if he's just going to eat like this, and Josh Allen looks better than he did last year, if that's even possible.
He's a cheat code. He's literally a cheat code. I mean, there's nothing he's bad at. I think with Diggs, it'll be really interesting. They didn't even have Gabe Davis. Like, that obviously led to more receptions for him. But, like, how stupid are the Titans to not double? Like, the only guy you have to worry about on the field is Stephon Diggs. And they let him just torch the one-on-one. I mean, we'll see if it continues. His target per share is ridiculous, especially when you consider he doesn't even play more than 70 snaps because they don't bring him in running downs. It's something to watch for, that's for sure.
Yeah. The Miami backfield was a little strange to watch. All game it was Mostert, and then when the game counted, they put Chase in, and he broke off a big run. So I know, Joe Green, you picked up Mostert. I thought about it. I had a claim in for a couple fab bucks, and I took it down. I was like, I don't trust it, and I just want to hear your thinking of it because it was something I thought about doing, and I wanted to know why you pulled the trigger and I didn't.
I mean, I think we all have seen Mostert clearly is talented. Like, if it isn't for the injuries, he's still on the 49ers kicking ass for the season. I mean, he's a bigger back. You can give him the ball more. I know he gets hurt, but like, realistically, he's the biggest back on their team. He could handle the workload more than Chase Edmonds can. I think he's more physical, and that's all the stuff why they're going to give him the ball more. I mean, it is 1 week, but I still think he's their best running back in a backfield with mediocre running backs. And I watched Chase Edmonds last year. I owned him. He's nothing. He's a receiving back, and he occasionally can give you 7-8 target, rushes a game and maybe break a big one. That's just what he is.
I think the Dolphins, the only thing they're missing is a power back. Like, if you put I don't even know who. If you put a back that's going to be bruising the front seven of a team, and then you got the 2 fastest guys on the team, like in the league, like, that's dangerous. I feel like they understand that as well. Like, why do you have to have more elusiveness? Like, why you don't need more speed? You need someone that's going to bring pain and regret taking them down. I don't think Mostert is it, but I feel like they understand that, though.
He's their only back who even offers that, though. When you look at all their running backs, like,
absolutely.
That's sadly yeah. So I do agree. I don't think he's the best back for it, but like, he is the only back that can do it.
Like, going into next year, if they get one of those, looking great. Before we go forward, did you guys see the video of Tua when they reverse the camera and they show him throwing from the right?
I did see that.
That was a game changer for me. Like, seeing him throw from the right side, it looked so much better than his left hand. It made him look like a good QB. I mean, let's just say.
I tend to agree. He looks much more fluid. I don't know.
The ball in the air just looks so much nicer from the left side.
It might just be a lefty quarterback thing. I mean, how many good lefty quarterbacks have we seen in our life? Like, I can't really think of that many.
Yeah.
Vic?
Michael Vick. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only one I know.
It's the only one that matters.
We weren't around for, yeah.
Next up, we have Detroit versus Minnesota. I think Detroit's going to win this game.
It's not prime time, so it could be a little bounce back.
Yeah,
bounce back.
So that's really what it was. I was almost suckered into betting on the Eagles, and I said no, I can't do it because Kirk Cousins is playing at night. I can't do it. But for real, we need to put some respect on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Everybody in the NFL does. He may be a top 5 wide receiver in the league right now. It's like he's unstoppable. He does
I
it all.
called this last year when everybody didn't know his name. I said, watch out for the fucking kid. He's going to be a star on that offense. And guess what?
He is.
Looking back now, shitting on all of you guys. Telling you. Not you guys in general, but the goddamn public.
Yep. Going back to last season, he now has 8 straight games with at least 10 targets, with at least 7 receptions. And during those 8 games, he has 7 touchdowns.
Say the key stat.
That's a great stat.
Say the T stat. 150 targets to a wide receiver 1. You're locked to be top 10 wide receiver in the league. 83% of the time, he's top 10 wide receiver.
Listen, I don't disagree. I keep telling you, I don't disagree with the stat, but not every single wide receiver can get 150.
That's why Pittman is going to end up, unfortunately, being a top 10 wide receiver because there's nobody else.
Yeah. I was wrong because I thought it was a fad because they had nobody and they brought more mouths in. It'd be interesting to see later on in the season when Jameson Williams comes back. Obviously, he didn't put any work in with Jared Goff, but I want to kind of see how that works out. I may be when do we have any update on when he's supposed to come?
I don't think he can come back until week 4.
Week 4.
Yes, he could come back week 4, but I don't think we'll see him until week 6.
Okay. So I asked because I wanted to know if it was before, if we'll see him before the trade deadline or after. That would be interesting. Could see some people selling high. Never know.
I think that is the most interesting thing with Amon-Ra. Like going into the season, I wasn't concerned. I think I was the highest tier on him because I really wasn't concerned about Jameson Williams. I do think there is like some intrigue. Like we'll see. I mean, Jared Goff has no repertoire with Amon-Ra. With Jameson Williams. So that's going to be a factor. The guy missed all of camp. How much can he really get involved? But we'll see when he gets on the field. He is extremely talented. Like if he wasn't hurt, he was probably the second wide receiver I think that would have went off the board. I don't remember exactly which order he went in the draft, but to me, he was one of the most talented top 3 in that draft. And we'll see when he gets on the field how that impacts their offense.
I agree.
So reading right now, he just started. I mean, he's been running, but now he's starting to cut. So he has 2 more weeks to get activated. They said that there is a chance for him to be back week 4. It will be week 5, not week 4. So,
yeah, and I don't think that they'll rush him back anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Listen, I told you guys this start of the season. Told you guys this last year. Year in, year out. This guy, TJ Hawkinson. Why is he at the top of people's rankings? Why? Somebody explain it to me because I'm out of excuses for him.
There are no.
It's just not good.
Before Pittman, it was Hawkinson being considered one of the top tight ends the league has seen coming from the draft coming out of Iowa. That's the reason why people are high on him. He's one of those drivers. He's one of those tight ends that people have thought maybe he could be the next Gronk. Being able to block and catch, that was his. Now you see him with the long hair now and the beard. They're like, why isn't he producing?
I don't know. He's had 1 game over 100 yards. I did the stat like 10 times this offseason. It was his first game ever. Since then, he hasn't done it. He hasn't shown any ability to be like a weekly guy. But every year, he just stays on the team.
And his coach was a former tight end. You would think he would be able to feature him.
Yeah.
Clearly
but
not.
His coach also wants to win games. So
it is funny that his only 100-yard game was the first game of his NFL career. And he hasn't had one time.
I think honestly that's the most healthy he's been in his whole career. He's always banged up. You have a Dalvin Cook only 6 attempts, 17 yards in the ground. Didn't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried.
I'm not worried.
But it features the stat of how top first and second round running backs don't look good compared to wide receivers.
That I agree. Yes.
Feeds into our narrative. And just for the record, T.J. Hawkinson, currently the tight end 21.
Yikes.
Not great.
I don't think any of us three were high on him. Just for the record, like, I'm pretty sure all three of us hated him.
No, I wasn't that high on him.
If anything, you were the highest, Mike, but it wasn't. It was like 9 or 10. It wasn't like.
It was just I didn't think that golf could support so many weapons, and that's exactly why. Like I continue to think that St. Brown was going to be the main guy, and when Williams gets there, I don't know if it's going to hurt or it's going to be better for Hawkinson because that's like takes more coverage away from him, but we'll see. That's Baltimore versus New England. All right.
Yep.
Talk about
my guy.
Good guy.
Isaiah Likely. Almost a breakout game. Almost. If you throw a touchdown, then that's a breakout game. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 43 yards. Was used during the game when it actually mattered. I love to see that. He's only going to keep getting work. Tight end whisperer.
It was a funny stat that Bateman runs like faster than Brown's top speed in any game.
Oh,
did you see that stat?
On the touchdown? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was moving, dude.
And Brown's supposed to be the deep there. So,
yeah.
Got shit on.
Bateman's a talent, man. 7 targets. Gets the touchdown. I love it. It was a damn shame he was on my bench this week, but it wouldn't have helped me win. I lost by like 55.
He was on my bench too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like the spot, so we couldn't really trust him. We talked about it last week, but now it looks like we can.
You have anything to say about the running back situation in New England?
Yeah. Ramondre, another one of my guys, got used a little bit more last week. I think he'll be used even more in the passing game this week because, it's going to be a negative game script against the Ravens, and, they're going to have to throw the ball. And Jacoby Myers, he is the safest play in fantasy football, as Mike said this year. But he can't catch 100 balls because he's not safe anymore. He likes to sit in that little middle range where he's going to stay safe with his 7 targets. His 7 targets, 5 catches, 50 yards.
Give him 9 to 10 targets. And see you later.
Can't do that.
13, I think, last week. See ya.
Can't have that many. You got to lower it down.
Oh, Michael Thomas Jr. over there.
Jeez. It's a bold take.
Never will get a touchdown. Never.
Yeah, I like Stevenson's upside this week against a team that probably put up a bunch of points on them, and they're going to have to throw the ball, and they don't have somebody to catch the ball. So that's kind of all I had to say about it. I don't know if anybody disagrees.
I don't really have an opinion on it.
I just stay away from New England.
Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah, I mean,
stay away.
Myers.
Myers is the only one I've accepted. Myers. Like if I owned Myers, I'd be happy. Yeah.
Thanks for your approval.
Yeah.
You're not welcome on the wagon.
That's fine.
Do you think Dobbins comes back this week? I have not read anything.
No,
I don't think he does, and I don't think it's the way they're running this offense. It's Lamar, and that's it, man. Like they're not using running backs. Like even in years prior, when like their main guy went down, they'd still run the ball a shit ton. They're just not doing it.
They don't have anyone they're confident in. I mean, Dobbins will be the most talented when he gets back. Gus Edwards is going to be back eventually too. I mean, he should be back week 4. Well, we'll see. He could practice by week 4, but it's just a disaster. I don't know. Harbaugh said he's week to week, Dobbins. So
yeah,
I don't think he's going to play personally.
He said that since before week 1.
I don't know why they didn't just IR him for the 4 games.
I don't know why they didn't either. Dobbins also came out and admitted that he tore more than his ACL last year. His ACL, his MCL, his Achilles. It was like a laundry list of injuries the guy had. So they're being really cautious with him.
Didn't have a leg.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't like that. As if I'm a Dobbins owner, you know.
Absolutely.
I don't like that.
That news should have been out there, and it wasn't.
I mean, they're keeping it close to the chest, you know.
Call the doctor. He was drafted in the 5th round too. What a waste. That might be a disaster pick.
Yeah.
Back at the end of the year.
Yeah, he was in conversation with AJ Dillon, ETN, all them. So.
Yeah.
Cincy versus New York Jets. Bengals have looked like shit.
They look washed.
They look good in the 4th quarter, and that's always what they've been doing in the last 2 games. And their offensive line has been dog shit for a team that's put so much money into it, getting high names onto their roster. They're on pace for 111 sacks on the year. That's most all time.
Yeah, it's not great if you're Joe Burrow. Not even if you're a Joe Burrow owner. If you're Joe Burrow or his family member, that's not a thing you want to hear.
I love the tweet someone put out of Lionel Collins saying, "I'll make sure no one touches you," and then proceeds to give up like 3 sacks last game. Fantastic.
It's not great.
He got paid and was like, "Fuck yeah, I don't even need to work out."
Yeah.
His whole offensive line did that, I feel.
Can either one of you explain to me why T. Higgins didn't see a target or most likely even a look until late in the second half?
Answer that question. I'm a Higgins owner.
I am too.
He's my keeper. He is my keeper. You see what happens when you do feature him. Like, it opens up the field, especially for Chase. Like, Higgins is he honestly goes over the middle most of the time. And it separates, the corners. They go away from Chase on the outside, and it opens up everything. I don't even know honestly, I really hate. I think his coach's name is Zach Taylor. Zach, I hate him.
Yeah.
I think he's the biggest ripoff. Like you have a good QB, and that's the reason why you have your job still. Is the only reason because Joe Burrow. If you didn't have Joe Burrow, and you had some shitty ass QB out back there, you would have been gone already. Like, he's the only reason why you have a team.
Zach Taylor was close to being fired. I don't know if you guys remember this. Like, if it didn't go well last year, he was gone. And I mean, he's a Sean McVay from that tree. Like, that's why he was hired, because everyone thought he was a hot new thing. I was like, hire the young offensive coordinators. But their offense isn't the same. Like, they don't run what they were doing last year. No deep passes. I mean, I don't think Chase has seen more than 2 deep balls this year. The play action's limited. It's very weird. I don't know why they felt they had to change everything, because they need to go back to what was working last year.
Yeah, I mean, Mike said it before. They started to make a little bit of comeback in the 4th. It's because they were giving the ball to T. Higgins. They were spreading the ball around, and Joe Burrow hasn't looked good. Like, he's been under a lot of pressure and constantly sacked, but he's making bad decisions. He just doesn't look like the quarterback that we saw last year.
Cinderella run came to an end.
Yeah.
Could be a 1-year thing. We'll see.
Yeah. Listen, I told you Joe Mixon regression was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Told you. Can't get in the end zone this year.
The problem is they're not even in like that 5-yard range ever.
Yeah.
Like, if their touchdowns come from anywhere, it's like from that like 12 to 15 yards out, and they're like the curl route to like Chase or something else. They're never in the 5-yard range ever.
No. Another guy who was drafted top 2 rounds. Not really
honestly,
producing.
This is why their kicker is killing it right now, because they get stopped.
McPherson.
This is why they get stopped like 10, 15 yards. He's kicking 2 to 3 times a game. Like,
that's my kicker, baby.
Love it. I know Joe Green doesn't believe kickers should be in the game, but
he's an idiot. Joe Green's an idiot.
I'm telling you, we'll be playing fantasy without kickers soon enough.
I don't think we will.
I mean, maybe not in our home league, but it'll become a thing. We're not too far away.
Listen, I told you guys, the Jets are hopeful. I told you they're gonna win games. Salah's taking receipts. He's out here to win games. I sound like a Jets fan. I'm not even a Jets fan. I'm just here reporting the facts.
You got one more game of this, and then Wilson's coming back, and then it's all going to get tumbling down. Because guess what? This team is not going to be as good with Wilson throwing the ball. You can't even
Mike,
run the goddamn offense. So why are you even getting your hopes up for one more game? That's it. Like
let me ask you a
Wilson,
question.
yeah.
Who leads the league in passing attempts?
Probably the Jets.
Joe Flacco.
They can't run the ball because they're only giving their running backs like 10, 15 carries total between Carter and Hall.
Yeah, they both had 7 carries last week. Michael Carter was using the passing game as we kind of expect now. Brees Hall broke off a decent-sized run. He looked good. They both look good. So this is going to be a two-headed monster. That's what's going to happen. And we talked about one Ohio State rookie wide receiver. We're going to talk about the other one. Garrett Wilson has arrived. Do you guys think it's a weekly play to play him? Do you think that he went past Elijah Moore, or it's just a one-off game?
I personally think Joe Flacco, he could feature both of them. That's fine. Wilson comes in, he's going right back to Moore.
Wow.
I don't know.
I
don't know that I agree with that. Well, first off, I want to say I rewatched that game. Joe Flacco was playing the best football that he's played since the Super Bowl run. Like the throws he was making, the reads he was making were absolutely incredible. Like seriously, I thought I was watching an all-pro quarterback. Secondly, I mean, I love Garrett Wilson. I thought he was one of my favorite wide receivers going into this year, even with Joe Flacco and then Zach Wilson. I think the biggest question is just going to be when Zach comes back, what's the offense look like? Zach's going to be rusty. He hasn't probably practiced in over a month. So it might be ugly at first, but I don't think Garrett Wilson all of a sudden is going to fall to unplayable because they went from Joe Flacco to Zach Wilson. I think that's kind of a crazy take.
I'll bet on this.
I just think Garrett's way too talented to not.
I think they're both
talented.
It's nothing to do with Garrett. Like I don't have like a bad thing to say about him. He's talented. I think his separation skills is what gets him the opportunity to make plays. I don't think he has the greatest hands in the world. I'm not saying it's bad. I think his separation is in his route running. But I just think instantly the first 3 weeks, the chemistry is going to go to Moore when Wilson comes back. After that, we'll see. But
I just think it's just funny because you read off that stat about how Joe Flacco favored Elijah Moore like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Nah, I don't care."
Don't see it. I mean, this week could be more though. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if this week's more. So, what I think personally is that they need to continue to run the ball, play action, and play defense. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do when Wilson comes back. Flacco has a better arm right now and a better opportunity to run the offense. So that's why he can kind of sling it a little bit. Jets did nothing for the first 3 quarters. I mean, let's be real. The 4th quarter came out and they started balling because guess what? He was taking receipts and they're like, you know what? We can't go down looking like a bitch. Yeah. That's what happened.
Also, I just want to say that wasn't Nick Chubb's fault they lost that game. Fuck the defense coordinator for the Browns. It was all his fault. And the special teams coordinator.
I think that, remember, was that last year or 2 years ago? Nick Chubb broke up a massive run.
Yeah.
And then needed the one. And then fantasy owners ripped him to shreds on Twitter. Deservedly so, because he won that touchdown.
Yeah.
I think that got in his head. So he went for that touchdown.
Maybe. Either way,
it's not his fault.
No, that's 100% on. That's 100% on the defense coordinator and the special teams coordinator. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing way to lose. Happy for the Jets, though.
Very happy. What we're not happy about, at least I'm happy. Joe Green's not happy. We're talking about now the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders
going against Tennessee, arguably one of the worst teams in the league this year.
Who, the Raiders or Tennessee?
Both.
Could easily say both right now.
We could see a change at QB real quick for Tennessee. They're just looking awful. I keep telling you, Burt sucks.
He doesn't suck.
That was his most consistent game so far.
It's the same as week 1. I mean, he had 6 targets, 4 receptions, 47 yards. I'm
It's
pretty sure
it's
he had 50 receptions the week 1.
it's not that. It's the target share. Like, you got to consider this guy. They're not playing him full snaps yet. He saw a massive increase from snaps from week 1 to 2. I think he went from 30% week 1 to it was about 60 or 70 this week. They're still not playing him full snaps because he obviously isn't involved. He missed a lot of time in camp. But I mean,
Why did he miss
there.
a lot of time during camp?
He was
Asthma.
hurt. He's
You
banged
can't
up.
be on the field if you have asthma.
Hey, Joe Green, can I just correct you on a stat?
What's that?
Week 1, he had 37% of the snaps. Week 2, 45. Not a 70%.
Well, okay. To be fair, the game was a blowout. They benched the starters after the game went to 41-7. I mean, Traylon Burks didn't see the field. It was before that.
If I was a coach and a guy who hasn't gotten a lot of reps in live action, especially in preseason or anything, and he's a rookie, still trying to learn the playbook, wouldn't you want to keep him out there?
I 100% agree. And if you notice, if you look at the guys who are out there, they're all bums. They even played bum-ass Robert Woods because they knew this guy couldn't catch a pass against the starters. But I still think Traylon Burks will make an impact. He had a 75-yard touchdown if Ryan Tannehill had one more second to block. The guy, he was gone. If you watch the footage, he beat the guy by 10 yards down the field.
Yep. Now, my next question is, can Ryan Tannehill make that throw?
I mean, he definitely should be able to make that throw. He shouldn't be in the NFL if he couldn't make that throw.
He has one more game. I think he's getting benched.
I'll say almost agree.
I will say this: if Malik Willis starts, I'm done. Burks isn't going to do anything. Like 100% not doing anything with Malik Willis. Malik Willis is not ready to throw football. He's a great scrambler, probably good for the Titans because they get sacked in a second anyway with that offensive line, especially with Taylor Lewan going down. But I don't want anything to do with Burks if Malik Willis starts playing, especially like week 3 or 4. We're already in week 3, so.
Yeah, they play the Raiders this week, like we just said, and they play the Colts next week.
Like if Tennessee doesn't look good against Vegas defense, like time to switch. There's no.
Well, the season's over if you start 0-3. There's no coming back. You got to go 10.
You can make it back.
2 the rest of the way. 10-3.
Their division, they can come back. Their division. If it was any other division, division, I would say they're done. But in their division, they have a slight chance.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
For the fantasy owners, would you pick up what's his name, the backup, the rookie QB?
No.
There's rushing upside there.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I need to see him do it.
He's a better runner than Lance.
I mean, he's
a more willing runner. He's a more willing runner than Lance.
And he probably throws the ball better than Lance as well.
Well, we're not going to find out. So.
We're going to find out soon. I'm debating about picking him up.
Well, I was talking about Trey Lance. We're just not going to find out.
Yeah.
Are you guys? If you're Derrick Henry owner, are you just fucked?
Petrified. 10 out of 10. Petrified. You're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked, right? It's not petrified. You're fucked because you can't do anything with them.
No, you drafted this guy top 5 too.
The offense line is garbage, and they're like teams are figuring it out. Just like, you know what, stop Henry, we win this game.
Like there's players that like can have shit weeks that you draft in the 5th, 6th round. They're like, oh, he's got upside. You draft Derrick Henry, and he's putting up what should have been 2.5 fantasy points if he didn't fall an extra half inch forward on that touchdown. Like, people notice that. That's not good. You're not gonna be able to dump him off for anything outside of like Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
You know?
He's the 9th overall. He's the 9th wide receiver right now, sir.
Derrick Henry, he's going to have probably a solid week this week against the Raiders defense. You sell him immediately after this game. You're done. You get whatever you can, and you move on.
Get a wide receiver.
Get a wide receiver and move on because he's but the burst isn't there. The offensive line sucks. The whole offense sucks. It's just nothing to like about that.
The whole team stinks.
What
happened to Devontae Adams last week? Joe Green.
Don't ask me. That's Guardian Fancy.
You got fancy trying to throw to Matt Collins a little too much. They're trying to spread the ball around. There's no reason to worry about Devontae. He still saw 7 targets. It's like,
You know what? You know what I'm worried about? You know what I'm worried about? Your coach. That's the problem.
I'm worried. I thought we moved on from the conservative play calling. We go from John Gruden to Josh McDaniels doing the same thing. It's a problem.
If you had the coach you had last year, I forgot the special teams coach, whatever his name was.
Rich Bisaccia.
I think you would be talking about a top 3 offense right now.
Hey,
He's a special teams coach.
I don't care.
Absolutely nothing.
He's just a better coach. He's a better coach. He's a better coach.
No, because he's got that grit. He's got that grit.
He got the grit, and he motivated his players. This team looks so boring. Like, Carr's ready to go back to speak religion right now after the game, saying, please, fire him. Please, fire him. Please, God, fire him. Like,
please, God, fire him.
It's such an overreaction. They're 2 plays away from being 2-0. Instead of those 2 plays, they're 0-2. Like, it's just a overreaction.
I don't know if it was 2 plays because the Raiders let up 16 points to a midget in the 4th quarter. A guy who was playing Call of Duty till 4 a.m. and
why are you not running the ball? That's what I don't understand.
I agree.
At all.
I agree. They didn't even run it, and they're running it great the entire game.
Exactly. He's averaging like 6 yards a carry, and you're not running it. And he's on his last year contract. Like, you might as well run him down to the floor.
I don't know. Not good.
That's enough of these shit teams. We're talking about maybe potential championship team, Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies definitely Super Bowl team.
Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles versus the Commanders.
The Commanders, he got it right.
Good. Commanders are looking really good, and Wentz looks really good.
Yeah.
We can't wait for the Robinson come back soon. Take the reins of Gibson.
He was on the field today. He was practicing.
Yeah.
They put him on IR, so he can't even come back, right?
No,
he can't come back.
It
was interesting.
6, though? Or is it still week
He's on
4?
PUP, not IR. He's on PUP, not IR.
Yeah, I think that's still 4.
So, it's still 4 weeks. So week 5, he can come back. My bad.
Yeah. It was interesting because we talked about last week Antonio Gibson getting all these targets, and finally, like, at least I was like, oh, they finally using him. Now he's not on my team. And then this week they used J.D. McKissic, 7 targets, 7 receptions, 54 yards. Yeah. This team just makes no sense.
Yeah. There's nothing to make of the backfield. But I will say this, at least they know, like, Antonio Gibson's a really good receiver. I mean, obviously this week they didn't use him as much, but, like, they know they don't have a running back till Brian Robinson comes back.
Do you think that Antonio Gibson gets the passing work, or you think it's still going to be McKissic and then Gibson's back to punt team?
I think Gibson gets the special teams work.
Oh, jeez.
It might be like that.
Yeah.
It might.
Curtis Samuel, wide receiver 9.
Rivera doesn't like him. Yeah, Curtis
Samuel, baby. 11 targets last week.
9. 11 week 1.
On the flip, I think, one, Curtis Samuel, you love this, like, if you own him right now. Like, if you picked him up, like, clearly he's, like, the focal point. But on the flip side of that, Terry McLaurin, gotta be concerned a bit.
Yeah.
I think it eventually will even itself out. Once people start respecting Samuels a little bit, it's going to take Terry will always get the coverage, but at least give him the opportunity to make a play. Terry eventually will pick back up. I'm not scared yet.
Yeah.
But
I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried because of Jahan Dotson. I mean, Jahan Dotson's proved everyone wrong. I didn't think he'd be very good. I thought, short, speedy receiver, but great route running. Like, way better than I could have imagined. Phenomenal footwork. Like, he's clearly one of Wentz's favorite targets, and I just don't think Wentz can feature 3 wide receivers. I mean, maybe if he keeps playing like this, but
I mean, I can break it down. I have it right in front of me. Curtis Samuel, 7 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Terry McLaurin, he had 8 targets, but he had 4 receptions, 75 yards. It's 11 fantasy points. Jahan Dotson, 4 for 59 and a touchdown. That is 16 fantasy points. J.D. McKissic, 12 fantasy points in the passing game. If they're going to be playing like this all year, where Carson Wentz throws the ball 40 times. That's possible.
Yeah.
We didn't think that'd be happening.
The defense is not good. The defense is not good. I
Yeah.
mean, Young is still not on the field, so I mean, he's gonna throw 30 to 40 times just they want to stay in the game. They're still gonna have to go against the Giants. They're still gonna have to go against the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think Cowboys and Eagles defenses can be elite. But at the same time, Cowboys are gonna be running with Rush. I mean, gonna have plenty of opportunity because I don't think he's gonna be really good. I think last game was an outlier. Opportunity is there.
Would you stream Wentz against the Eagles this week?
No.
Oh, not against the Eagles. No.
I wouldn't stream
you don't think
anybody against the Eagles.
You saw what Slay just did to Jefferson?
Yeah, he made Jefferson look like a bitch. Yes, Kirk Cousins sucks on primetime, but he was locking him up.
That interception from Cousins wasn't his fault. That was all Jefferson's fault.
That was all Slay's great play.
No, Jefferson's supposed to cut in front of the corner. He didn't do it, and it was just an easy ball.
Slay was limping before the play happened. I don't know if you caught that. He was trying to get off the field. So the coach trying to get him off the field. He said, "No, thanks."
That was a bad route. He just didn't care what he was doing there.
Yeah,
Jefferson looked lazy.
On the Eagles side, were you surprised that Devonta Smith had 7 targets and 7 catches?
I just think that's what the defense gave him.
Yeah. So you don't think it's a weekly thing?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we'll see the 0 catches weeks, but I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna get insane weeks.
See, this is what I said about our trade. I think if the Vikings actually had like a good game that day, I think AJ Brown is catching 4 to 5 more catches. Take that away from him, and that's where it's going to. It's going to AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, take that away from Quez Watkins. You know.
I got $50 more in my bank.
For now. Season's still young.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick.
How many points behind?
Hurts, probably
14.
12,
I'm looking
13,
at 14.
14. Yeah. Jalen Hurts, that was the best game he's ever played in his life. Like I know, like obviously the interception wasn't his fault, but seriously, passing wise, unbelievable. I'm curious to see if he continues to build on that though, because I still don't think the world of him as a passer. But seriously, it was the best game he's ever played.
Yeah, I was real surprised, and there was people like we obviously know some Eagles fans who were like, "Oh, Eagles gonna win a Super Bowl." Like I watched that game, I was like, they look really good. Like that's a true contender that we could see an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl, and the world will go on fire if that happens.
It would be even more on fire if the Eagles never won one.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, you're right. You're all right.
Next up, we're starting the 4:00 games. We have Jackson versus the Chargers.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk is that dude, boy.
Yep, he's that guy.
He's the number 1 wide receiver on not a bad team, an average team in the NFL. And he's going to continue to get the work. He's going to continue to get the targets. It's going to eventually lead to production. Like I always say, you get targets, you're going to get production.
If I had $1 for every time Mike said that in the last 24 hours, man.
It's a slogan. I want it on a shirt. Targets equal production. That's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, it's volume, man. That's what we always talk about. And
died.
Here we go.
I just pulled my mic out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
First time.
So to my I've been a Trevor Lawrence hater. Let me tell you that.
I hear forgiveness.
He looked good. He looked very good this week. And I'm not willing to say he's great yet. I will say he's serviceable. And I will say I may be tipping to, maybe I was wrong. Where like Tua will always think in my eyes. But Trevor, he looks very efficient. Like he went out there on a mission to beat the balls off the Colts, and that's what he did. 25 for 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Great passer rating. The ball went everywhere. Jacksonville Looks like the best team in this division.
Their defense has played
We'll
a
see.
lot better than I expect.
Well, let's give it some time. They played 2 bad offenses.
Yeah, this is going to be the challenge.
What do you mean they played 2
we'll
bad
see.
offenses? They played wide receiver number 9, Curtis Samuel.
Actually, I won't say that Washington's a bad offense, but the Colts without Pittman and Pierce and a bunch of Naheem Hines was their number 1 wide receiver. Not gonna give him credit for that.
Real quick, go back to the Colts. Run the football with Jonathan Taylor, you morons.
It can't win this 10
The same reason why you lost that game last year. Same reason. I love Christian Kirk. I own him. Mike wants him. I had four texts today, Mike.
I'm gonna get him.
I had 4 texts today for people who have better things than you.
I don't even want him on my roster, like on my lineup. I just want him on my team just so I can root for him. Yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah, I know. I'll give him. I think I have him in another league that we're in. I'll give him to you in a different
the league. Just take the L and just give him.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Evan Ingram. Shout out to Evan Ingram. 8 targets, 7 receptions, and 46 yards. Any love for that?
No.
Okay.
How many did he drop?
1, I guess, because he had 7 receptions on 8 targets.
Oh. He still dropped 1, so
he definitely dropped it because it didn't look like Trevor was throwing dimes. So
worried about ETN?
No, nope. I think this is the game that ETN actually plays a much bigger role because assuming that Herbert's not completely dead like he looked at the end of the game on Thursday night, the Chargers are a much better team. They're gonna be throwing the ball a lot. I think he's gonna be on the field way more than Robinson will be this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be it's a negative game script for Jacksonville and be playing from behind. I really like ETN this week, but take that from somebody who owns ETN and really needs him to do well. So
I wouldn't be shocked if they held out Allen this week because like in their lineup they're like, you know what, we could beat Jacksonville without Allen. Let's just run with Mike Williams, Palmer, ETN.
We'll see though because Herbert looked rough at the end of that Chiefs game. Like, I mean, we didn't really talk about the injury, the rib injury. I mean, that one play, he literally said "fuck it" and just threw the ball out of bounds because he didn't even want to run. It hurt so much.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll see.
Would you trust that doctor to give you a shot after what he did to Taylor?
Did you see
Tyrod Taylor sued immediately? Immediately sued right after that.
Yeah. It wasn't the Twitter world wasn't like, oh, just hope Justin Herbert feels better. It was, oh my God, Tyrod Taylor's suing the Chargers because he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming, and if it happens to Herbert's a smarter guy than he is. So he's like, I gotta get this out there. I gotta get my lawsuit in first.
I have to do it before he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Do you have anything on the Chargers? I think they're just.
You love what Mike Williams did last week. I think in my eyes, I see that let them just hang Allen out. Don't let him play this game.
If Allen's out, Joshua Palmer play again. Definitely play again.
Oh, definitely.
Had a touchdown last week. Yeah.
Mike Williams.
Should
ball all game like you did last week. He was just catching everything, Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Shout out to Joe Green for tweeting that Joshua Palmer was going to catch a touchdown and had to sweat out his prediction for 4 quarters. And it was like one of the last plays of the game.
Literally. He got it.
Yeah, you just tweeted about got it.
Got it.
Let's talk about LA Rams and Arizona. Arizona, that trash team, came back last week. They had no point in winning it. They should have not have came back. Thank the Raiders for being such dog shit. They had no place in that game. You had a hamster beating you. How do you feel about that, Joe Green?
Great.
That's me beating. Good. That's me beating you.
I like Kyler. I seriously like he's a good quarterback.
I like Kyler too, but he did not look good.
Besides the run.
I watched that whole game because I needed Kyler to go off.
He was terrible.
Yeah, he looks terrible.
They celebrated like they won the Super Bowl. They just suck. Like, I'm gonna be honest, they're gonna suck against almost every other team. Like, it's just not that.
If they didn't win that, their season was over though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
because San Francisco just got better because they got Jimmy G back.
Here we
fair.
go. That's all God.
The Rams
That's
are
fair.
the Rams. But I swear, San Francisco has a better offense with Jimmy G. Just fact.
I think so
We'll go
too.
to it in a bit.
I mean,
We'll get to it in a bit.
But Arizona, Connors got hurt.
He's all right. He's all
You
right.
think he's all right?
He said he was fine. He was running around when they won the game. He was in the end zone doing backflips. Like, I think he's all right.
Connor himself, he gets banged up and then he continues to get banged up. Like he gets worse and worse and worse. And that's why I can't rank him high like I did like Billy does. And I love the Benjamin out there. If you have him on, I see people picking up Williams. Like why are you doing that? Pick up Benjamin. He's the second running back. Williams played most.
What do you mean? Why are they doing that?
Benjamin is the backup.
Williams
looked way better.
Williams went off. Williams went off.
I don't care.
What game are you watching?
Yeah,
I'm saying Benjamin.
Benjamin had 31 yards.
He also had 3 catches, like he does every game.
I mean,
Benjamin is the backup.
Hold
Williams
on. Williams had 2 catches.
Okay, I'm telling you, Benjamin is the backup.
He's not.
He's not.
He is. Williams has started most of his snaps
Wow.
on special teams, besides until the injury came.
Let me ask you a very simple question, and
Yes.
then I don't want no funny business about your answer.
Yes.
It's between these 2 players. Who scored more fantasy points?
I think Williams did. He had more rushing yards.
Yeah, more rushing yards.
He
He
had
had
a
a
touchdown.
touchdown. No, he had 2 receptions. Give me Williams. Not by much. Like I don't love either one, especially against the Rams. But give me Williams.
Anyway, I'm enough. I have nothing else to say. You
Okay.
guys don't want to hear. You guys don't want to hear. I've been hot all year, and this is what you do to me.
Well, you can't. Listen. I experienced that this weekend at an insane gambling run. You can't be hot every game. Sometimes it gotta end.
I've been keep saying hot shit, and it hasn't cooled down yet. So I'm gonna continue to say it.
Okay.
It's gonna come down hard.
It's a hot boy summer. Yeah. It's a hot boy summer.
It's hot boy winter. Fat boy winter, Mike. That's what it is.
Fat boy winner.
Shout out to Cooper Kupp. He now has 25 touchdowns, 23 games with Matthew Stafford. An insane stat.
Nobody else.
Cam
Akers.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Cam Akers.
It was obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was obviously you knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was happening. I still played Henderson.
Yeah, that's because you're hot boy summer.
Yeah. I think it will just be like hit or miss on whoever's the hot hand on that team. That's honestly.
I mean, the hot hand was clearly Henderson. He had less attempts, more yards, more touch. He had a touchdown. He just wasn't using the passing game.
This game was just a little different because they got so much heat for not playing Akers, and I feel like that's why they used him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into week 3, going against Arizona. They should both have 10 to 12 carries going against Arizona's D.
You guys picking up Tyler Higbee this week?
Absolutely. I have him in 2 leagues, I think.
Yeah.
I think Myers is my safe wide receiver, and Higbee is my safe tight end.
Yeah, I really don't know why people were so low on Higbee, like in rankings this year. Like he got used a lot last year.
The last 5 games of the season for the Rams, that's when he started to pick up.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between him and Stafford didn't end.
Yeah, I mean we know why, but
I don't like crime, baby.
Yeah, he had 9 targets, 7 receptions, 71 yards. Like you're getting 14 points for your tight end, you're pretty happy.
And I'm pretty sure he had 9 points week 1. He had 5 targets, 50 yards, something like that.
Yeah, I love that.
But listen, I tell everybody, if you don't have one of those top tight ends, you're asking for 10 points every week. That's all you want. You win you have your stars. You just want 10 points from your tight end. That's it.
Yeah. You want 10 points for your tight end and for your defense to get not negative points.
Yeah.
That's what you're asking for out here.
And then you get one of those top kickers like me and Billy.
Yeah.
We waste our draft picks on kickers, and we win. That's what we do.
I'm 0-2.
Well, listen, you lost to a cheater over there with collusion.
Cheater.
And I don't even know what happened week 2 for you. You just suck.
No, I had a chance. I went up against Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a close game, and then he's rushed for 55, had a 55-yard run, and it was over.
Well, I have like 3 of those players on my team, so don't even think you're going to beat me.
Listen, game by game, baby. I'm moved on to next week. Moved on. I'm 2-0 in one league. It's all good.
I think that's enough for the Rams. I think the Rams versus Arizona. I think it'll be, I don't know. Should be a high power offense on both sides. They both have to throw the ball. Arizona's going to be fighting to compete with the Rams. I have no expectation for the Arizona to win this game. Anything, Joe Green? You're looking like I can see you, but the people can't see you. But you're looking like a ghost.
No, it's just we got to move a little quicker. We're moving pretty slow at the moment.
All right, we have Atlanta versus Seahawks. 2 shit teams finally seeing each other. We have Mariota, one of the best waiver wire QBs you could possibly have on your team. Drake London being featured heavily, 12 targets, 8 receptions, 1 TD. Kyle Pitts is not featured at all.
Even just like Mike knew. Mike knew it. Mike's hot. Mike's hot.
Yeah, he's fucking
Back-to-back weeks. Kyle Pitts, the same exact stat line, 3.9 fantasy points.
He's blocking more than he ever did. The coach says we're here to win the game. But guess what? You win the game if you throw in the Pitts, you feature in London, and you're using Patterson in multiple ways because he's not only a running back, he's a wide receiver. But what do I expect from shit coaches that don't know how to coach?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Give me the
Drake London.
Mariota loves his tight ends, right?
It's not his fault. He's not featured. He's blocking out there. All right.
What do you? He's just not. Mariota just doesn't like tight ends.
That's not true. He's number 1 passing to the tight end. All right.
Number 1. Yeah.
Lockett last week had 9 receptions for 110 yards.
Yeah.
I'm scared for Penny. I'm actually very frightened to see what he's going to do forward. I mean, they're featuring 3 running backs right now. Walker just came back last week. Homer had a interception because he can't throw, and Penny.
No, it wasn't even. That wasn't even Homer. That was DJ Davis or Dallas.
Davis. Yeah. That 4 running backs. They don't know what they're doing. Feature one of them, or at least 2 of them, Walker and Penny. Until then, Penny's on my. Don't start Penny, even against the Atlanta Falcons, which should be a positive matchup.
I think it could be a bounce back game for Penny. He only had 6 attempts, so they were down real quick, real fast. Once Jimmy G came in,
like I think 10 carries is like max for him now.
I'm concerned.
I am too.
I think this. No, I know. I was saying my concern is he's not a receiving back, and he's on a bad offense. So you're asking a guy who's not a receiving back to put up 100 yards on like 12 carries and a touchdown. It's just not feasible.
If he goes off against Atlanta, sell him.
Yeah, I think 100%.
So. Hot boy summer, sell him fast.
I really don't have much for this game.
No, Geno Smith. We all know he can't feature 2 wide receivers. 1 week is going to be Lockett. 1 week is going to be Metcalf. This week, probably Lockett again, I think. But what do I know?
Trademarked the term, his phrase. So shout out to him. He got his moment of fame.
Oh, he did? He got a trademark?
Yeah.
That was a great quote.
It, whatever.
What's the trademark?
What was it? I don't even remember it.
Fuck.
It's like they doubted me. I don't know. They buried me and I came back or something. It was something. I don't know. It was really good.
They wrote about my downfall, but I'm not listening or some shit like that.
No. They wrote about my downfall and I ain't right back.
Yeah. Oh, so that's all. Yeah, Drake. It's gonna be a Drake song next week, dude.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, it's so good.
That's enough of that game. We have the Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. Aaron Jones showed off.
Yeah.
We are all high on Aaron Jones this year, especially in the passing attack. He had a nice touchdown in the game. Yeah, I think going forward, just going to be hit or miss. It's going to be Jones' week or it's going to be Dylan's week, especially in touchdowns in the red zone.
Aaron Rodgers sucks in Florida.
He does suck in Florida.
Aaron Rodgers sucks in general lately with no wide receivers.
Hot take.
Just saying.
Just sucks in Aaron Rodgers after the game did say that he wants to get both these backs 15 carries a game if he can. And it's exactly what they did last week. I mean, the Bears stink. So Aaron Jones had 15 attempts, 132 yards, and a touchdown. A.J. Dillon had more attempts. He had 18. But he only had 61 yards. But Jones looks faster. So, like, he is faster. He can get away from people better. He finds the holes a little bit better than I think Dillon does.
He has more breakaway speed. Like, if he has a hole, he's going to hit it. And Dillon, he's going to fight for his 3 to 4 yards every carry. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah, I mean, they both have the same amount of targets. So, like, if you're a A.J. Dillon owner and you're worried about the receptions, like, you could have had him. It just didn't work.
And outside of that, I want on the red zone as well. So, I mean, could have went anyway.
Outside of that, I don't want to own anybody on Green Bay. But shout out to Sammy Watkins. A week too late, breakout game. 93 yards.
Week 2, Sammy Watkins.
Never fails.
Tampa Bay, you make anything about Cole Beasley signing to this team?
I think they just need bodies.
No white on white crime? No white on white crime here?
Nah, man. I think they just need bodies down there.
I know. Fournette, baby. Deep.
Julio, though. Big week for Julio if he plays.
Yeah, if he plays, I think it's a big week for Julio. Scotty Miller had 8 targets.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty, that's my boy.
Great movie.
Tom Brady looks like shit. Looks bad.
No receivers. There's no receivers. He's throwing no Godwin. Now no Mike Evans.
Listen, he threw to no receivers for a decade in New England.
That's true.
There's no excuse. That's not an excuse for somebody who we call the GOAT.
I mean, it's not fair. They went against Saints defense, and Lattimore. Everyone knows Lattimore has Evans' number. Come on.
I mean, Mike Evans had the best game out of everybody.
Oh. He had to throw somebody.
Yeah.
I would say this as a Brady owner, I'm concerned because of the injuries. The injuries are just piling up, and he can't overcome all of this. It's too much at this age, and you're looking at a guy, who might be he might not even fall inside the top 12. Like, that's how bad it's gotten for Brady. I mean, we'll see when they get healthy, but you're riding it out for at least the first 6 weeks here, and really a rough spot.
Yeah, I don't have anything more to say about this team.
Have fun with Fournette, Mike. I'm happy he's off my team.
Yeah, I'll take 20 carries per game. That's fine with me.
Yep.
Next up, we have San Francisco versus Denver. We have the hot boy summer, Jimmy G.
Yeah. You see that smile on his face when he came into the game? Oh.
He was grinning. He's like,
I told you.
He was looking at one of his Playboy bunnies on the sideline. My time, baby.
Let me show you.
Let me show you how it's done, baby.
Trey Lance is following his footsteps, though. He's got the porn stars out there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got Colin Coward's daughter first, and then now he's got porn stars.
I think Denver is a fraud of a team.
I think that coach is possibly the worst coach of all time.
I think he's the first coach fired.
Yeah.
No, they'll give him the year.
No way you give that guy the year, Matt. We do this every year. We talk about this every year.
You give the guy a year because you wanted Aaron Rodgers.
If you fire him, you're gonna look like a dumbass as a GM. They're not gonna fire him before the year's up.
I think that he's bad, and I think what's his name?
Who? Russ?
Russ is done. His arm is done.
I mean, Russ looked a little better last week.
Yeah, a little better. I mean,
but the play calling was even worse than the week before.
Like
watching them is
he
just
can call his
brutal.
own plays.
So I own Sutton in multiple leagues, so I have to watch that game, and it's just like, why am I torturing myself?
Sutton's probably the only thing you like in this offense.
Yeah,
Judy.
Judy got hurt.
If he's healthy, Judy's a good play.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping. I don't
he
think
plays
Sutton's
this
going to
week.
get 11 targets again this week, but
They
I also,
look bad.
yeah, I mean, I thought Cortland Sutton should have caught that ball that got overturned. And then they threw to him 3 more times. He still couldn't get it. Like, hey, let's. Remember we talked about last week. They just didn't throw the ball to Sutton in the red zone. They, like down by the 1. They didn't run a fade. So they listened to our podcast clearly. Nathaniel Hackett listens to our podcast and decides, hey, we're just gonna throw the ball 10 times to Cortland Sutton, and when he's never open.
It's not good. I'm concerned. Mostly because of Russ. I'm concerned about Russ's arm. I don't know. He's underthrowing a lot of passes right now. I don't like that. I don't get pass interference is nothing for me. So
yeah.
Concerned about the split at running back position still?
No, not at all. Because I knew exactly that's what was going to happen.
We all knew this. This is widely stated. So if you drafted Javonte, you knew this was happening.
Yeah, if you draft him in the 2nd round, you're probably an idiot. That's my opinion.
People were voting for him to be the next top 5 running back.
Yeah,
every
100%.
second-year running back is going to be great. Nope, not when you're sharing. Same thing with San Francisco. They're a team that's just sharing every running back position between Debo, Wilson, and Davis.
Davis is hurt.
Davis is hurt, so he gets out.
James Mason now.
Now it's Mason's turn.
Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
Mac got pulled up into the main roster. So now it's Mac, Mason, Wilson, Debo.
That's just not a good look. It happens every year.
It still looks. This looks better for Wilson now that Davis is out. So I do expect a lot more of Wilson now. So the more injuries to the running back makes it better for Wilson. That's all I gotta say.
They got to fire their strength and conditioning coach.
We've been saying this since we started the podcast.
Every running back always gets hurt on this team.
Every year they get hurt.
Kittle might not be back this week. He still hasn't practiced this week. It's not great.
Not good at all. Debo, I mean, how do you guys feel about Debo last week?
I'm indifferent. I really don't. Like, if you have Debo, you're starting him. I don't think that 6 targets is really going to do it for you. But I did he did break one off for a 51-yard run. So I do like that. But is he always going to break a 51-yard rush? I don't think so.
I think getting Jimmy G is greatly improving Debo's production. Like, in the passing attempt.
In the passing game,
passing attack, it's going to help help his rushing attempt. Rushing attempts are going to go a lot higher average.
I don't know about that.
I just honestly, I think this offense is going to look more like a professional team, and they're going to be able to move the ball better.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
you guys are so much on Trey, but
no, it's not even that. It's like you're acting like they were the best team ever last week.
No, but they looked a lot better with him in the game.
Trey got hurt in the first quarter.
Yeah,
but he got hurt
the week before. They looked like shit too.
We're
talking about the hurricane. This was windy conditions too.
I didn't see downpouring rain and a puddle.
It was windy. It was gusty.
It was like 15, 20 mile an hour winds, man. It was windy in Buffalo. You gonna say that's why Ryan Tannehill sucked?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Next up, our final game is Dallas versus the New York Giants.
The 2-0 New York Giants.
This is gonna be a shit show. I guarantee it. Put all your money on Dallas. I'm not saying that to just reverse Juju this. Giants are gonna get blown up by Parsons. Parsons is gonna have 4 sacks on the day.
If you're a gambling man, like I know some of us are, I saw a stat today. Daniel Jones at home after a game that's not being played at 1:00, 0-5.
Yeah. He's the cousin. He's just like Cousins. He has no chance of playing in big time games.
Yep. Zeke, I don't know what to do with him. I want nothing to do with Zeke. Tony Pollard is clearly his daddy. There's nothing that Zeke's doing that's impressing me at all.
I think this is a Zeke game because I think they're going to be up by so much.
Because it's prime time.
They're not going to be up by that much, man.
Up by so much.
I swear to God, they're going to be. I'll tell you exactly how this game's going to go.
Tell me.
Giants are not going to be able to move the ball at all. When they do move the ball, they're not going to like get more than like a couple, like maybe 1 or 2 first downs. The whole game, Dallas Cowboys are going to be having the shorter field. They're not going to have to make a lot of plays. They're eventually going to go up 10, maybe by 17 by half. Second half. Watch, second half. They're going to have to run the ball. Zeke's eventually going to get like 20 carries, and they're going to win.
That's crazy. Mike,
I don't think
Giants are
up 17.5.
No, man. Who do you like realistically? I'll ask Joe Green because he's not a Giants fan and doesn't have any say in this and not reverse Jujuing this game.
I'm not reverse Jujuing.
Shut up. Shut up. I know what you're doing. Who do you think has a better defense currently through 2 weeks? The Bengals or the Giants?
The Giants through 2 weeks.
The Giants do. I agree. Cooper Rush had played a terrible game through the air. He didn't play well. It was the defense that did it.
I'm saying
like
the defense is going to win it for the Dallas.
Their defense is going to put up 17 points though.
Maybe they put up 7. They're gonna put up. All right, so we're putting up. The defense is gonna get a fumble for a running it back. Watch or something. Pick 6. Something's gonna happen. Then Rush is gonna get 1 touchdown to somebody, and you know what? They get a field goal. That's exactly how they're gonna do it.
Just crazy talk.
Parsons is gonna kill the Giants. I'm a Parsons fan, and I hate the Cowboys. Parsons is going to be the best player in the NFL in 2 more years.
This is my favorite streaming defense this week, for sure. I agree with that.
Thank you. The Giants, right?
No, Dallas.
I think they could both be streaming defenses, to be honest with you.
It could be a low-scoring game, maybe.
Yeah.
Got it.
Kadarius Toney, droppable, or what do you think?
He's back on the questionable list.
Of course he is. He's a head, shoulder, knees, and toes guy. Of course he is.
I'm not dropping.
But
this is his last game.
0 receptions in 2 games.
But he was out.
Pretty bad.
He was out there though.
Yeah, I know, but 0 receptions is not doing for anything for me.
Right. But the first game, he was just featured in 2 running plays basically, and he only played like maybe 5 total.
Joe Green, what are you talking? He had 2 receptions for 0 yards.
Oh, he did. I thought it was 2 targets. I read that wrong.
Yeah, he has 2 receptions for 0 yards because he's very efficient with it when he gets the ball.
One more game.
Yeah, I'd hold on 1 more game. I'm not happy about it because you know what's going to happen. He's going to start balling out week 9 or 10, and somebody else is going to own him.
He's going to be one of those people that like you drop him, and then the next week
you regret it.
He has 10 catches for 180 yards.
Yep. And there's nothing you can do about it. Mike talked about. Go check out the waiver wire video. Mike talked about Noah Brown. That's all I gotta say.
Baby.
That's all I gotta say. Must own.
Must own. Watch out for Gallup. Gallup possibly playing this week. He'll definitely have a play. Certain amount of plays he's allowed to do.
Yeah. You guys have anything else on this game? I got nothing. Both these teams aren't good. Both these teams aren't good offensively. I want nothing. No part of it.
Nope.
All right.
It's a wrap.
All right. So like, follow, subscribe everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Mike's OnlyFans. Follow me on Twitter. Giving out free gambling picks every week. Winning picks. Mike, smooches.